friend. Welcome to the treehouse. Want to come inside? Oh, wait, just one last thing. All right, let's go inside. Welcome to Frame by Frame. So excited to have you here joining me today. How are you all doing? Hoping you are having a wonderful week, and I hope you had a great last week too. I missed last week. I was on a little trip up to see my new baby niece with the family, so that was very exciting. And I also got to take some great photos up in near Mill Valley, up in Marin, which is right across from San Francisco. Beautiful place to take photos. So let me know how you're all doing. Make sure I'm coming in loud and clear for all of you. I've got a great packed episode today because we have 2 challenges to get through, and it's going to be really fun. So today, I guess starting from the bottom up, we got the sunset challenge from a couple weeks ago, the favorite food challenge from last week. I'm not going to be doing any sort of speed runs of the past challenge today. And I'm hoping to give some more time and space for your photos from these challenges. Also, a big thank you to those of you who have submitted challenges or challenge ideas, which I posted a thread in the announcements of the community. So keep coming with your challenges over the next couple of months. I'm going to be putting out those challenges. Lots of great ones. I got a lot of creative ones too, like editing challenges and more in-depth things that I think we can try to do. I'm thinking I'll probably still have like pretty standard weekly challenges where it's like theme or style based. And that was we got a lot of comments from people saying, we maybe more like compositional style and things like that. And I do feel like this year has been a bit heavy on the thematic challenges. However, there are some coming up that are more like composition based. But yeah, keep coming with your ideas and information. I'll take all of it into consideration. Hello, everyone. Bob, Maria, welcome, Emma, Dio La Doctor, Miss Windy City, Lunes from Germany. Welcome to the show. If you're brand new here, let me know in the comments. I want to give you a special shout out. And of course, a special shout out to everyone who is here right now. Last thing is next week coming out, Powerful Photography. This is the course I've been talking about. It's all wrapped up in terms of the course content. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to give you a quick little preview right now, is I'm going to be launching it on the Photography and Friends Plus platform first. And so this is going to be exclusive here, and you're going to get all of the course content. So it's super easy to access. But also along with the course, I'm going to open up a private chat or private space, which I'm calling the Student Lounge, and I'm starting to build that out right here. And this is going to be where you'll have access to just commenting and posting questions. I'll be paying more attention to this space so that if you have thoughts or questions, I'll be there to answer along with the other students who are in the course. But this course is all about making more impact with your photography, and throughout the course, what's going to be happening is I have a My Impact project that I want you to work on. And so there's exercises that will kind of help you guide you through doing a photography project that has some additional impact than maybe what you've done in the past. I talk all about like what impact means, how to create more impactful photos, how to share photos to be more impactful, but it can be big, it can be small, but I do want this to be a really practical and fun course. And I'm going to be doing the project along with you. And so this is where you'll post all your exercise submissions, get ideas for your project, feedback. And I'm going to open that up for the rest of the year. So this space will be live and available to people who post who joined the course now when I launch next week. Maybe I'll have like an open period or maybe it'll just be rolling through the end of the year, but that space will only be open through the rest of the year. And then I'm going to close it up, and I'll probably put the course out on Udemy and other places for you to access, but it won't have that sort of one-on-one aspect of it. So really excited about the course. What you will see, it's been a while since I put a course here in the community, but there will be a new space or link under courses for Powerful Photography, and then another one for the Student Lounge, and you'll get access to that if you join. The course is going to be $30. There's going to be a little discount at the start if you join within the first week. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be live next week at some point, maybe Tuesday. So super excited about that. Don't want to be too promo-y or anything like that though, but just really excited about that. And yeah, so got a couple comments. Maria says, I want to suggest, because I've done it twice on Instagram, photo swap, same photo, different edits. Ooh, yes, I love this idea. We've done this a couple times in the past where for a while I was posting a photo and everyone was submitting their edits. I love that idea. And maybe if I can organize it, we could do those like once a month in the editing space or something like that. And I asked students to submit their photos to have other students edit, which I think would be super cool. Emma asks, are you authorized to give certification? That would be great to have. I'm not sure what certification you are looking for, but no, I can only give you a high five and tell you that you are an amazing student of mine. So yeah. Cool. Well, let me know. One of you come up with a question that you want everyone to answer. I yesterday in the Q&A with Will, Sam was sick. What did we ask? We asked what your longest lens was. We were talking a lot about telephoto lenses, so we asked what your longest lens is. So go ahead and comment that. But if any of you have questions or that you want everyone to answer, post it in the chat. Oh, and I am wearing my World Series 2002 Angels hat because it's baseball postseason here in the States. I don't know if anyone around the world cares about that, but I am a sad Angel fan. Dodgers are in the World Series, Blue Jays, so I'm actually excited about both teams being there. I kind of root for the Dodgers. I'm a West Coast fan. I default to West Coast teams during the playoffs, but Blue Jays, Canada, that's pretty cool too. Any baseball fans out there? All right, let's get to our reviews. Now, I did get a comment about my feedback, and I love the feedback about my feedback because it makes me better at what I do. And there was someone asking, if I could spend more time on the photos. Sometimes it feels like I'm rushed. Sometimes I feel like it feels like I'm a little too nice. And I think I agree with all of those. I think it's a bit difficult to fit all the photos into a show. And people have thrown out the idea of like, oh, maybe you should just pick your favorite few to review. But I like the idea of like reviewing all of them and not just like the best ones. So I will try to be a little bit more, I guess, critical if that's what people want. But it's also hard. It's hard to like without, when it's just based off of looking at a photo, it's sometimes hard. But yes, I will try to be a bit more critical, not just the feedback was like that. It's just like when you submit a project in class and all the other students are like, oh yeah, good job. So yeah, good feedback. And it might just mean you're going to be here for like several hours with me. Nah, just kidding. I'm going to try to get this done, stick to about an hour. I think that's as long as I can do. David Austin says, longest lens is the 150 to 500 zoom. That's pretty long. Lunas has the 55 to 210. Amar still stuck with the 18 to 55. Whoops, pressed the wrong button, but that's our first photo. So we're going to be getting into that. So sunset challenge, let's get into it. Will is here. Yes, Will in the house. What's up? So the sunset challenge, what am I looking for? I'm looking not only for probably a nice photo of a sunset. We know that lighting at sunset, that golden hour, is going to be beautiful. I'm probably looking for more of a story than just, or something of more interest than just the sun itself, whether that's just the setting and composition being really interesting, or a story or something happening in the photo that takes it to that next level. As you know, if you've been here, I rate things out of 5. If it's a good, technical, well-composed, well-lit, well-edited photo, it's going to be a 3. Something that pushes the envelope and wows me a little bit is a 4. I save those 5s for the very, very special ones. 2, you'll get a 2 if there's something off technically, but I could tell that it's like almost there, but maybe something's off. And a 1 is where either it just didn't fit the theme, which sometimes happens, and there might be some like technical issues or things that just, I think, can need a lot of work. I'm going to try to give more 1s and 2s. It's hard for me to do that, and I think that's the feedback I got. Be more critical, but I will try. So anyways, let's get to it. If you submitted a sunset photo, let me know in the comments below so that I can give extra time to the people here live with me in this. All right, without further ado, Eric Johnson. Very beautiful sunset. Look at the colors in the sky. Great like silhouetting of those little islands out there with the trees. Nice symmetry, nice balance, lovely colors. Looks like maybe a little bit of a longer exposure. Just you get a little bit of softness in the water, a little movement in the clouds. Nice photo. Just overall nice photo. So Eric, you are setting the bar today. So I'm gonna give you 3. That's not to say that I actually really like this photo, but you're first, so you get to set the bar for how high these photos are. And I love Will is commenting on the photos. Love it. If you have comments, please post them. And as I always say, these are just my opinions, so don't take anything to heart. But if you do submit a photo or a comment, refer to the photographer's name so the students know if they're watching a replay or anything and they can see the live comments, they know who you're talking about. David's up next. David's here. David, thank you. Huge shout out to David, who does a lot of work behind the scenes and in helping make sure the community is a good place to be. Very cool photo. I like the foreground elements here. I think that post there actually adds a lot to the left. And the second one on the water, which is really nice. It's a bit dark and moody, but I actually don't mind that. And I like the perspective. I like the 2/3 of it being water versus maybe even tilting up. It's a little dark. I don't know if other people think it's too dark. Sometimes it's just like how it shows up on the screen. Actually, my screen was a little dark. Actually, I'm brightening up my screen now. But the colors are really nice. Luna says, very nice colors. Love. Yeah, I like the colors a lot too. Just going back, this one like super saturated, maybe a little oversaturated now that I look at it. This one a little muted. Solid photo, David. Oh, this is so hard. I'm gonna give it a 3 again though. Good photo, solid, good perspective, and good colors, good edit. Just all around good photo. Luna's video says not too dark, so that's good. Will says love the subtle vignette. Very hasn't posted a sunset photo in a while. Got this classic multi-exposure. of Very. Got this skyline going through this person in the back. Very, really cool photo. I mean, I know this takes like such like extra work in doing this, and I know from her commenting in the past, like she does a lot of this most of it just in camera, which is like really crazy to me. I still haven't tested that out with my Fuji, and I don't understand fully how that really works. But like to take a photo and then to know how to like frame the next photo, I think it's pretty cool. So for the symbolism of it, with that like sort of the silhouette you see of the person with that skyline, I think that's pretty cool. It's not my favorite photo of Very's. There's a couple others that I think are really cool, that have kind of like wowed me a bit more. But man, I mean, I feel like I don't want to give her a handicap. I feel like if I had like a little handicap, I'd probably give her a 3. But you know, if I'm just basing it off like just seeing this random photo, I think it's a 4 for me. That's just like pretty out there. Verushka, nicely composed landscape, really good photo in terms of composition, and I could see that it was captured at I guess sunset time. You don't get that whole sunsetty vibe, and I'm wondering if even later, if there would have been more colors in the sky that would have made this pop. I like this little bird up in the top left. I don't know if you see that. But I kind of wish the sunset, since this was a sunset theme, it was like more prevalent. Like the colors were more dramatic. Exact same photo, but like a different day, maybe with more clouds, maybe just at a different time, would have been, I think, made it more interesting. I'm actually going to give this one a 2, just because I think for the challenge itself, it's not as strong, but compositionally very nicely laid out. Go take this photo again, Verushka, at a different time. Mac, of course I like the bird. Yes. We're no longer giving extra points for cats, which has come up in the past, but if you submit a bird photo, it's an automatic +1 to the score. This is what I'm talking about in terms of like storytelling with your photography. This photo without the boat would have been cool. Would have been a nice photo of just like a scene, but like having that silhouetted boat there is like really nice. And I like the framing. I love the like simplicity of it, the subtleness of just like, it almost looks like an impressionist painting. So really nice. I'm not sure if there's like a little bit of like over editing in the, like, I don't know if it's like I can tell there's like such a difference between the sky above and then the ocean down. It's like you have the clarity cranked up on what's below the horizon, and then up above it's like really soft, and that's okay, but it might tone that down a little bit. If I was being super picky, maybe like framing just to the left just a little bit, just a tiny bit to the left. Just have it, I feel like the boat's a little squished to the left side of the frame, but I don't know. Really good. I'm gonna give this one a 4. This one stands out to me. I really like it. Amar, is Amar here? Did Amar say they were here? Yes. Is this you, Amar, that's here? All right. Cool sunset. Looks like the sun is right behind those clouds. And I think my same comment is going to apply here, where if you had waited a bit longer here, I think the colors in the sky would be even more dramatic. It's kind of interesting how like the clouds are all to the right, on the right side of the frame, and the left is kind of bare. There's something about the horizon not being completely level And this is hard when you're out shooting landscapes because sometimes there's hills and things that are diagonal in your frame. So like you don't necessarily like make that straight because then it's not level. I would have almost punched up the saturation a little bit on this. And maybe it's just increasing the contrast. So bring the darks a little bit, or the blacks a little darker, something just to get a little more color. So like, and then I think also this is one where it's like the landscape, pretty landscape, cool textures. Maybe there was a way to frame those, like, I don't know if that's like the ruins of some like old building. It doesn't look like natural rocks right in front of you. But maybe there's a way to frame that where that's more of like the subject in this setting rather than what it is right now, where it's kind of like just like from eye level framing like the view, but there's nothing really drawing my eye to it. Amar says, I couldn't wait too long because I was climbing the mountain. Yes, you got to get home. You don't want to be stuck in the dark. No, really good photo. I think I'm going to give this, I'm going to be a little critical. I'm going to give it a 2, mostly because I think trying to find something in this setting that was more of a subject. It could have been like a specific plant that was more interesting. I think the contrast or colors could have been better at like a later time, even though I want you to be safe. Yeah, I don't know. If anyone has comments, let Amar know. He's here in the chat. Bob's here. And another ocean sunset shot. Nice setting. My initial thought is like it's a bit contrasty, like the buildings almost like too dark. I don't know. It's like I can tell that you want those to be silhouetted, which is nice, but then the background's kind of dark too, and so they don't stand out. I think this would have been one that would have been nicer if you had like a longer lens and you were more focused just on that one boat, and you see those waves in the front of it with the mountain in the background, kind of similar to that other one. Right now, it's kind of like a nice setting, but maybe there's not like a specific subject. Like there are subjects, but there's not one that my eye is drawn to that makes it more interesting. But this is one where you did wait a good amount of time, and the colors in the sky show that sun is like beyond that mountain or the hill in the distance. So that's nice. I think it's just mostly the framing or the composition itself is where I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm just wondering if there was a different photo in this location. Like, is this in Hawaii? Where is this? And I think the edit is a little too dark, a little too mottled, and there is no bird, as Luna said. Yeah, so -1 for not having the bird. Oh, man. I almost wish like I could have seen more buildings, like more of like a wider shot. Like if I see those buildings on the right, I kind of want like to see like the whole shoreline going towards them, like a leading line of the shore. I could tell that like the beach probably curves out to those buildings. Yeah, Waikiki. Yeah. That's what I thought it was. You know what you should have done here is, if you ever go back there, they have the little jetties that go out, and you can go out on those jetties, and then you can get a shot, kind of the same angle, but like you see the whole shoreline. You get a wider shot of like the environment of all the people probably on the beach, some of these boats on there. So I think like, yeah, I either want more or less, and zoomed in on a boat or zoomed in something like that. I don't know. Hopefully that's helpful. I don't know. I'm going to give you a 2, Bob. Sorry. I feel bad. but I think you probably have better sunset shots, Bob. But maybe, is this a new photo? I'm just gonna challenge you to go take another sunset photo, Bob. All right, let's get on to our next photo. Whoa, it's so interesting that like the sunset just automatically lends itself to like the ocean. Maybe it's because like it's easier to see the sunset if you live by the ocean, like at least on like a west coast. This is very interesting. It looks like it was purposely, what's going on here? A longish shutter that like at the end you tilted up a little bit, Bill. I mean, it's creative. I'm not sure if I really like it, honestly. It's kind of cool. Maybe you were on a tripod and then you took a long exposure and then at the very end you tilted up or down. Yeah, maybe down, because you see like the shadow of the boats or like that ghosting of the boats and stuff kind of going upwards. So I guess you would have tilted down. So it's kind of a cool idea. I mean, it's interesting. I don't really have a lot of comments because this is so like experimental. And to like do this better, I'm not exactly sure what I would say to do. Maybe the one thing I don't like about it is that it's kind of at like an angle. Like it's close to being straight on with all of these boats, but it's still like at a slight angle. So either choose to have it at more of an angle or move to the left if that's possible and like look straight at these boats so that everything's more straight on. TK Swan loves it though. Very unique, they say. Maria says it reminds me of a painting. I like it. I think I'm going to give it a 3 because I don't know what else to do with it. Is that fair? Bedtime Short says this would be better suited in a different kind of category. I agree. Maybe like an experimental category. I cannot believe I have not looked at these photos, and I will apologize. I do not have an instructor photo today for you to review me. So 1 star for me. The Drunk Wedding Photographer liked that one though. Gave you a 5. So this is for Bill's photo. Peter, this is a cool photo. I like the edit. You raise the exposure, the shadows a lot. It's not very crunchy and black. And I actually like it. I like the boats in the foreground. I think what could have been interesting to do just to clean this frame up, probably not possible, but I'm just going to say like this photo with you higher would have been really interesting if those boats were like more like within the water instead of like blocking the horizon in the background. Then you could see like the boats in the foreground on the water and then the whole like water and horizon in the background. But obviously you need like a ladder or a drone. Maybe going to the right a little bit more. Like I kind of want to see more of, I can see how the water to the right of that big boat in the middle, there's like an opening in the water, and I kind of want to see through that water to the distance, have this main boat to the left a bit more as like rule of thirds rather than like kind of right in the middle. And then I also see like these reeds of grass on the right side. Obviously, I don't know if this is possible at all. I don't know where the pier is that you're standing on. You might have not been able to move to the right or the left or whatever. I'm just trying to think out loud of like maybe something that could have helped with the composition. I don't know if people can understand what I'm saying though, but like see how like right above the boat you have the sky with the sun that just went down, which is really dynamic. But it's kind of like distracted by that boat, which is right in front of it, which is a cool subject to have. But if the boats were more to the left And then you still had this like kind of not a leading line, but just this opening of the water going towards that sun, which could be highlighted itself. I think that would have been kind of cool. But in terms of the edit, I actually like the sort of subtle, like flat look of it. It's not, you didn't push the saturation too much. I'm going to give you a 4 just because I like the colors so much. I like the subjects too. I like that you can see it clearly. And good waiting for the right moment with the sun, like perfect moment with the sky and the colors. I'm sorry, Maria. Unacceptable not to have a photo. I know, I was trying. If you want to see bird photos, I can show you some bird photos I got this past week. Ooh, this is cool. Man, shooting directly at the sun. That's kind of crazy. I like this photo. It's really cool as is. I'd say it's like a 3.4 for me. The water in this like wetlands kind of thing with like the snaking line is really cool. The sun centered is cool, although like I worry for your like sensor being burned by that. And the edit's nice too. It's not too contrasty. I think you could have gone one way where you just crank up the contrast, and which might have looked cool, like to have a little more contrast. Maybe like getting down low. I don't know like where you're standing. You're like kind of high from the ground. Getting a little lower could have been cool, like lower to the water. But man, look at that reflection of that sun. It's kind of cool. And I like that the sun is centered. You have like the light rays like symmetrical on the top and bottom like that. Part of me wonders like if you were tilted down more or if the sun was higher, if it would have been cool as well, because the top, I like that it's centered and symmetrical, but also like the clouds at the top don't really add much to the photo for me. Luna's video says 5 stars. But Cade, really good photo. I think I'm gonna give it a 4. I think there's maybe ways, like I'm sure at this location you probably could have got some cool additional photos. Maybe even just like a wider shot instead of the up and down with the sun at the top, like lose the centering of the sun wider. But I don't know, just really cool photo. Cesar Guzman, sunset photo, silhouette. The colors in the sky aren't that colorful, and I don't know if it's the edit. What I don't like about this photo is that like the sign is blocked. So like it's called Darling Harbor, I'm assuming, but let me just go back to this. David does say that the sun rays really add to it rating out from the center. That is very true. I do like that about that. Yeah, it's hard because I don't know what I'm looking at. Really, I don't know what I'm looking at. Is that like a building? Is it like a ferry? Is it a boat? It looks like some sort of like public transit station, part of the harbor. But I want to see that whole sign up there. If that's what the story is going to be in your photo, that you're here at this place, I want to see that whole sign. So backing up, getting up higher or something, moving to the left so that you can see that sign. It is sunset It's close to sunset, but I agree with Luna's video's comment about, is this sunset? I think waiting till it was a little bit lower and maybe having like the light shining through one of the windows down below. Caesar, I'm going to give you a 1 for this. I think that yeah, the main thing for me is not that it's not a good sunset photo, but it's just the composition as is. Um, the sign is being blocked. Like if you move to the left, at least like the D and the H wouldn't have been blocked by that post right there. I don't know. Is that a boat or something? I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. Sorry, Caesar. Catherine. Ooh, lovely colors. The lighting on this is like pretty crazy. That you're in the shade, but it's pretty bright, and maybe that's the edit. You brought up the shadows quite a bit, and then in the distance it's super sunny. That's a hard balance to find. I think maybe the saturation's a touch too saturated in the distance, and maybe overall it looks kind of unnatural, but I don't not like it. It is sunset because it was captured at the sunsetty time, I guess, but it's not really a sun. It's not like highlighting the sunset. I think is probably the one thing. So like, yeah, I don't really knock you for that. I don't want to knock people for taking a photo that doesn't show the sun. Like that's not for me the point of this challenge. But we are getting a lot of people saying, what kind of sunset is this? And I think that probably is like the initial reaction to this photo is like, okay, well, where is the sunset in this photo? And I think the truth is it's probably captured right around sunset time. Bedtime Short says, if the shadows were there and they were long, then you can say it's a sunset. Yeah. I mean, as itself, it's a pretty cool photo. I like the leading lines, really nice, like put you in that moment. That is the moon in the background in the sky that you can see. So I think for the photo itself, I'd give it a 4. Because it's not highlighting a sunset, I'd probably back it down to a 3. So I'm going to give it a 3. But as a photo, it's a very lovely photo in itself. Astha Mishra posted this one. This is pretty cool. I like that you got really low to the ground. You're like right over the edge of the ground. There's a lot. I don't know. That sky, is that like a vignette you added at the top? Maybe. I don't like how unnatural that is, although I can see why you did it, because you wanted to balance like the ocean being a little darker and then have like that band of the sunset and then the sky. So I think that's a little over edited, but it's very creative. A creative edit, a creative photo, creative composition. I like seeing all the buildings silhouetted along there. I think the edit of the sky bugs me enough that I'm not going to give it a 4, but I kind of wish I just could see it with like the sky being natural. And maybe I'm wrong, but I do think that's edited. Miss Windy City 312 says, nice one. Luna's video says, this is a sunset. Yeah, so I think I'm going to give it a 3. I think that's being a little bit harsh on this photo because I think it's pretty cool. Part of me also is like, it's kind of abstract. Like, I don't know what to look at, but that's fine for this photo. I think it's because maybe the foreground's out of focus. I don't know. Cool colors, a little over edited. Maybe like bring back down the saturation just a tad. The drunk wedding photographer says yes, it's over edited, I think, but looks like an ad from the 80s. Yeah, it kind of looks like a movie poster. You could put text at the top. That would be cool. Ooh, bird +1. Eric. Was there another photo by Eric, or was it a different Eric, the first one? I really like this. This is a cool photo. Great placement of the sun right there in that little V of the plants, the bushes, the trees. I might have like cropped in just a tiny bit. Lost. See how there's that little like opening in the clouds at the top, in the top right, in the left as well. Just come in a little tighter to that the star of the show, which is the sun with the bird. Yeah, I really like this one. It's a bit over edited too. I don't not like it. But I could tell like the contrast, you pushed it pretty hard. You maybe did a little dehazing. You maybe like used some tool to like make the background more saturated, the sky. Well, you definitely, I think, pumped up the saturation of the sky, but you get a little bit of like that weird effect on the edges of the leaves that like if it was like a mask, the background is edited, but like the foreground's not, but then you get the weird edging. But yeah, great timing with that bird. So Eric, this is probably one of my favorites so far. I'm gonna give you a 4. It's almost perfect. I think it's like there's like a little bit of the fact that there's like a little digital noise and grain. It's like a little soft, a little over edited. I can't give you a 5, but it's pretty close, Eric. Really good job. Should we change this name of the challenge to Water by the Sunset? That's pretty good. Hold on, I have to take this call because it's my kid's school. I'm gonna be right back. Go get something to drink. All right, welcome back, folks. Okay, one of my kids is sick at school. My wife's gonna go run and get him. So far, I'm good though. I can continue, but I might have to pop out if anything else happens. But all right, so let's get back to the Sunset by the Water challenge. This is nice. I think the sunset could have been at a little bit later to get some more color in the sky. But nice overall edit, colors. Maybe you push the blacks a little too dark. But I like the composition. Maybe going, not that, again, you don't have to be looking at the sun for this, but like moving to the left a little bit, pointing the camera a little bit more towards where the sun is might have been interesting. I could lose that building to the left that's in the frame in the distance. but a pretty good photo. I like the foreground elements of like the plants at the bottom too. So yeah, pretty good. I'm going to give it a 3. Technically very well done. Hong Wang. Okay, well that is a sunset. Colors are really cool. Why did you not tilt down and get that really cool reflection of the sun in the water? That's my question, because I think that is an opportunity for a really cool sort of balanced, symmetrical look. So that's like, I guess, my biggest critique. I don't know. Does everyone else want that, or am I crazy? I mean, it's so clean and minimal, this photo. There's not much to be said. I actually like the edit. I think it's just the composition is like, tilt down, get that reflection. But nice edit. Yeah, nice contrast. I like the silhouetting of everything other than like the sky and the water. Very nice. I'm going to give you a 3. And lion. All right, so here's a photo of the sky captured at sunset. This is one, again, if you listen to me at the very beginning, like, I want to see the sunset, but something more than just the sky or the sunset. There's times when just the sky by itself or just the sun is interesting enough, but I think this is one where the sky is pretty, but it's not like, it doesn't make me, I don't know, it doesn't make me stop and like look at this photo and say, wow, right? And maybe punching up the contrast, the saturation could have helped a little bit. But I also, just for this photo, if you're going to edit this, crop out or mask out, use the healing brush or something to get that wire in the top left out of the frame. Maybe this photo just by itself, just edited, like punch up the colors in the sky, maybe do a little bit of dehazing of the sky could help. The horizon, it's really hard to see, but like I can see the horizon's a little tilted to underneath the tree line, and so straighten that out. So a few things there that I think, now like the sky's so pretty here, I'm gonna give you a 1 to challenge you to go get another sunset photo with more of like a subject or a composition that is a little bit more creative. And yeah, but if you have skies like this, the sky can make this type of sky can be a great background for a sunset photo. All right, let's go next. Celeste, very similar sky, one with a building in it, which is kind of cool. I kind of like think the building's interesting, but the most interesting part of the building is like the right front with the balconies. Like the windows and the building on the left of that bush aren't that interesting to me, and that bush just sitting up in the middle also kind of bugs me. So like shifting to the right, doing a portrait of just that right side might be more interesting to me to see, like a more interesting composition anyways. So like I think, yeah, I actually really like the sky and the colors though of this photo, but I think I'm gonna give it a 2 because I do wish that the building was composed differently. But I like the idea of this building being the subject. Susanna, excuse me. This is interesting. It's not really at sunset. The sun is so high in the sky. It seems like you edited it to look like sunset a bit more. You made it silhouetted with the foreground, and with a vignette, but the vignette's a little bit unnatural. It's like a little bit too much. good practicing of editing and using the tools to see what you could do. I think for this kind of photo to really be like more dynamic, maybe it's like the timing of it with like you see that surfer there, maybe them on a wave would be cool, or closer up to them like that surfer, the people silhouetted in the water. They're kind of like small right now. But I think this is like really over edited to try to make it look like sunset. Whereas if you took the same photo an hour later or whenever the sun was more at the horizon, it would have been just naturally a much more interesting photo. So for that, I'm going to give you a 1, just because I think I'm going to challenge you to go out and take a sunset photo, but really do it at sunset, whether that's like, the 15 minutes before the sun goes under the horizon or even afterwards. That's when the sky gets really beautiful. Emma, ooh, this is a cool photo. I like the composition of just seeing like the water, and this is one where you don't see the sun, but it's at sunset. You can kind of get a sense of that with the backlighting of the person on their front side, but backlighting from our perspective. I don't know, does that boat in the top left bug me or not? I kind of want him to be more in the frame, because I don't mind seeing like the other things. Like it might be nice just to have it like cropped tighter on this one boat and the one guy looking out at the sunset in the distance and have it super clean. Or just not have that one, like that boat guy so close to the edge. I think it's the closeness to the edge that bugs me. So honestly, I'm looking at it like just more like a square crop. I think it could have been really a cool composition, but I like the silhouetting. I like that you didn't push it too far and like completely silhouette the person. I love the texture in the water. The colors of the water are really cool too. Bedtime Short says maybe he's looking for the boat, waiting. Maybe that's true. Yeah, I think this is a 4 for me. I would try cropping out that boat, see if you like it better. Maybe even increase the saturation on the water just a little bit. Try to make it a little warmer. Maybe. I don't know. A couple ideas to play around with. Oh my gosh. I really don't know why there's so many boats at the water. All right, this is like a cool setting. I think the sky is cool with the clouds. I think I don't like the composition of like these boats like randomly in the frame. I'd want to find like one boat in the frame and get closer to the ground, maybe get more of like a reflection going on or something, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe finding a single boat there. I feel like all of these water by the sunsets by the water shots are starting to blend together for me, so it's hard for me to like give really good feedback on each individual one. The sun, for me, the best part about this photo is the clouds in the sky. You see the sun rays shining through the clouds, which are very cool. What I don't like about it is the subject in the foreground not being composed very cleanly or interestingly. Yeah, I'm going to give it maybe a 3, maybe a 2, Leo. 2.5. Ooh, this is cool. Very subtle. Big sand dune. I like the perspective. I like that you're down low to the ground on the sand. I like that you have the silhouetting of the people in the distance. It's a very subtle edit. I think some people might not like it. It might not be their thing, but I like the color of that sun, the clouds. Man, this is actually one of my favorite ones. I think the only thing that would have made it a little better for me is it is a little dark, and maybe taking it a little earlier could help. where there was a little bit more light in the sky. But still, I really like it. I like the why it looks like a film. Emanuele, storytelling wise, if there was like footprints in the sand leading to you, like I could see there's like this line of the sand dunes, like maybe trying to like position yourself in a way where the line of the sand dune leads more directly to that sun in the center of the frame. Could have been cool. Nice subtle edit. I'm gonna give this a 4. Personally, this is one that I like. I like the edit. I know some people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? All right, Nayeli. This was captured again. This is one at sunset, but not of the sun. On the side of a highway. It's kind of hard to see what is going on though with that highway. I think the highway is a little too dark. If you make it darker, which then you're just highlighting the sky, and is that enough? Maybe a shot like directly down that high. I don't know if the sky was as cool with the clouds if you're standing right in the middle of that street, looking down it. But almost like for this photo, I would have just like tilted up and got rid of the street and those buildings, because the highlight of this photo is the sky. I kind of like these like tufts of clouds like floating upwards. Yeah, I think it's a 3 for me. I don't care for the street down below. It's not adding anything for me to this photo. Yeah. Whoa. That's crazy. This looks like over edited, Michelle. I think that sunray, I would bet, is not real. Those rays coming down, I don't know. Yeah, right? I don't know. Is that real? Those sun rays, they don't look real to me. Regardless of the reality of those sun rays, it's over edited in a couple ways. Like you got this orangish radial filter in the middle, and then you have like the outside vignetting or a radial filter with the cool tones of the boats on the outside. I actually really like this location with the wide crop, with the boats, with the layers of the mountains in the distance. And maybe I'm wrong, but the sunray just looks so fake to me. I have to not. I'm going to ding it for that, but I want you to prove me wrong. If this is real, then prove it. Peter, yes, Peter. Okay, Detective Peter figured it out. Yes, now because it looks like this is shot at sunset, but if it was at sunset, those light rays would not be coming directly down through the clouds, right? It feels like heaven goddish. Yes, the end is near. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm giving you an extra point, because I actually really like the wide crop and the location of this. It's just the over editing. And I think if this was like a more composite creative edit type of challenge, cool. But because it's not, yeah, there's something about it. Ooh, this is really cool. All right, Magenta Bear was the one that wanted me to be more critical, but of course you posted probably my favorite photo that I've seen. I'm like, oh, this is a 5-star photo. Really cool use of the long exposure, because you get that movement of the swing along with the clouds and the beach, but then you have the stillness of the frame of the swing set. I love the centering of it. I guess if I was to be a little critical, I think the colors are a bit oversaturated, and maybe the contrast is a bit contrasty. Like you lose a lot of details in that horizon in the background, and then in the foreground. I don't necessarily want to see the foreground. I think it's fine that it's pretty much pure black, but there's a little bit of like crunchy contrastiness to the background that I think is a little over edited. It's kind of like what happens when you do the dehaze or the clarity filter too much. So I would probably just back it off in terms of the contrast and the saturation, and it still would be a really good photo. I'm trying to think what else to say, because I'm still going to give this a 5 because it's my favorite photo so far. Super creative composition, super creative to use the long exposure. Great timing of the sunset photo. I think it's just a tiny over edit. So 4.5. Take that, Magenta Bear. You wanted me to be critical. 0.5 points off. All right. Hope that's enough. Ooh, Suzanne, this is a cool photo. Good job, Suzanne. I know Suzanne has been working hard at taking photos. I really like this one that you've posted. And okay, let me tell Suzanne, I'm going to use yours as an example. The colors here, if you compare it, obviously different place, different sunset. So colors are going to be different. But one's more natural, and that's Suzanne's, and I really like that. And I love the leading line of the horizon that goes to these 3 people that are fishing. Really cool, and they are right underneath the sunset. And I think there's a case where a different photo where you are like close up silhouetting the fisher people with that sunset more highlighted could be cool. Like I could imagine like you zoom in right to that little square where the people are. That's a cool photo. But I actually really like this photo too, with like the whole sunset, the whole horizon, very soft. The only thing maybe you could have done is like, but it would have changed where the people are. But I was gonna say get closer to the water, like getting down lower to the water. But then that changes how the people are right under the sun, which I really like. So, man, Suzanne, good job. I'm gonna give this one a 5. Oh yeah, Luna's videos. That's you. I always forget because you guys don't have the same names on your video, your YouTube accounts. But I love the colors. Looks like it's a pretty perfectly flat horizon. Good job. Lovely sunset. Great time to take this photo. And just to go back really quick, without the people there, still a pretty good photo. But with those 3 people there fishing, so subtle, but just adds so much to this photo to me. That little bit of like storytelling of like at the end of the day, fishing, trying to get that fish at sunset. Yeah, really, really good. All right. Speaking of birds, for my birthday, it was my birthday this week. And it was my birthday, it was my bird day. I got this new bird feeder called BirdFi that has a camera in it. I moved it this morning because the squirrels were getting it. And I just got a notification on the app that there was a bird in the new location. So that makes me very happy. Can you see that? Oh my gosh, let's focus in on that. All right. Oh, there we go. Look at that birdie. Little finch. So they found it. I was like wondering if they were gonna find it. All right. Cree Harris. This is a cool photo. Really cool perspective. Obviously different than the others. Taken at sunset-y time, so that you could tell the colors are nice. You don't have a lot of choice in the composition from the seat of an airplane, so pretty cool photo. I mean, very dynamic, puts you right there in that place, and I like that. And so I'm gonna give this one a 4. I actually really like the colors. Good edit. I can't believe that it's already 11:05. Yeah. Mubin. I might have to split this into two live streams. I don't know. Mubin. Interesting place. This is one where I'd probably get a little bit closer to the water. I don't need like as much sand in the foreground. The sky's pretty nice. Yeah, I think like what I would rather see here is get closer to the water, focus on the waves. The waves look really cool right there, like just little waves coming to the shore. Lose some of the sand, and compose it so you're really highlighting that water. And then in the background, you still have this like pier out there. Maybe a long exposure could have been cool here too. Yeah, a different composition I think would make this better for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm gonna pass the trophy over to you, the microphone over to you. What would you do differently here? I'm gonna give you a 3. I mean, technically, nice photo, good sunset, nice colors. I think it's just like the sand is interesting. It just doesn't add much for me. Just looking at the birds out on the fountain outside. Ooh, this is a cool Ritu. The bubbles add everything. Oh man, that's cool. I kind of wish you were higher up so that like right here it seems like your view is being blocked by the people in some sense, but also like, yeah, oh gosh, this is cool. This is a cool photo. And with the bubbles, it's really cool. I think I like that it's just like this moment at the end of the day. I love the bubbles. This person on the left, their hand sticking out with the bubble on top, that's really cool too. Really cool moment, but you can't really see her. But still, for like storytelling, I like it. I think it's a little like, what is it? It's like bottom heavy. Like if we split this frame into the bottom and the top, like the bottom third, there's not much going on at all. And so just tilting up a little bit or cropping up so that you have more of the sky, the people in the center, and then just a little bit of the steps at the bottom. Great capture of the way. Oh, this is from last one. Luna's videos, 5 from Luna's. I'm going to give this a 4. I think there was like potential for something really magical here. It's a really cool location. It's close to being magical. But even it's so hard to take photos of bubbles. I tried to do it in test of Photo Dash when I went to the Santa Monica Pier. But like if there was a lot of bubbles in the space getting closer, so they were more like close to the camera, would have been cool. Ooh, Paige. This is a cool edit. More HDR edit, which I actually really like. Sunset-y. It was taken close to sunset. There's a lot of light. And because it's an HDR edit, everything's bright. My critique, I guess, is like pick one of those rocks or one of those pools in the middle of a rock to really highlight as like the focus. And it could be in the foreground with everything in the background. But like even that rock on the right, see how it has that little pool in the middle of the rock? That's like so cool. And if that was like even just more highlighted in the bottom of the frame, but then everything behind it was still there, that would have been cool. Or like on the left-hand side, you have like this ring of rocks around this kind of calmer pool of water. Moving to the left might have helped. Finding some way where there's like rocks stepping out in a more leading line, kind of cool. But like the style of photo is really cool. You got and this location, like you got the water rushing over those rocks in the distance in the top rightish. It's just a little chaotic. I think that's the thing. Like there's an opportunity to like focus on something to make it feel a little bit more balanced. But really cool location. I would challenge you to go back out there and do a similar photo, but just find something to compose differently. Yeah, I want to be here. Where is this? I'm going to give you a 4. Pretty good though. It's pretty. That's absolutely true. Todd. Oh, wow. This is dramatic. This looks like a freaking Christopher Nolan still from like a trailer or something. Wow. Very edited. Super contrasty. But I like it. This is one where I don't mind that it's just the sky and the sunset and the water. I don't need a boat in the foreground. I don't need people fishing in the foreground to make it cool. A little over edited, maybe I would back off the contrast just a tiny bit, but the colors and the sky are really cool. I like the crop too, super wide. That's neat. It's neat. If I was going to give a 5 to someone else, I'd probably give it to this one. Good job, Todd. Nice photo. Yeah, I like the purpley sky. It looks like fancy. It looks like gold. It's totally different than some of these other photos, but yeah, I like this one. Abhishek found this spot up on a hill. Framing that sunset within that frame is pretty cool. Is there an opportunity where you could have gone down lower and had that? I don't know. There's buildings, but could you have found a street where you could look down that street with the sunset right in the middle of that leading line of the street going off to the distance? Maybe. I think like location wise, it's not super engaging for me. The colors are nice. I don't mind the darkness of it. I like the cool purpley vibe going on. I like the framing within the frame, but maybe a more creative place to get this photo could have helped. I'm going to give you a 3. Ooh, dawn. Very clean photo, clean sunset, sun, water. I liked was it Hong's photo before a little bit better, the one just of the sun. I like that this one's just like over the horizon though. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it's clean. It's nice. It's a sunset. It hits that mark. I'm going to give it a 3. I like the rule of thirds edit. I think a lot of people would have like put it right in the center, but I don't mind it being over to the side. Annette. Sunset, silhouette. I don't love it. The tree is kind of cool. I don't care for what's below the tree. I don't like that wire going across the tree. This is just obviously like where you were at. Maybe it's like your backyard or something like that. So it's hard to like control a lot of these things. But maybe just this photo of like a tighter crop of part of the tree could have been cool. Yeah, I think like that silhouette vibe. It's not really highlighting the sunset either. I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to give you a 2.5. Axo, another water sunset. Nice textures in the waves. Good sunset. 3-star, good edit, good colors. I think this is one where the sky is not dynamic enough, the foreground water is not dynamic enough to make it like a super standout photo without some sort of edit subject in there, whether that's like a person or something, or a ripple of water that's super interesting. Doesn't have to be a person. And Axo, you gotta fix that watermark. It's so distracting. I'm so sorry for being so critical of it, but like it's totally takes away from the experience of looking at your photo. So I would say get rid of it. You know, with Photoshop or any of these tools, you can get rid of those watermarks so easily. So it's not really doing anything to protect your work. But it's doing more harm than good, I would argue. So did I give you a 3? Sorry to be so critical, Axo. Ooh, this is cool, Mirella. This is nice. I like that it's the focus on the plants. Super soft, great colors. Is it the edit? Oh, did you do some sort of like blurring the background in Lightroom? Did you use the lens blur thing where it like tries to like give you a manual shallow depth of field? I'm curious because the edges of all these leaves and stuff look weird, right? There's something going on where like the mask, I think, was trying to select those and then blur the background. That to me is a bummer because, and maybe I'm wrong because I really like it, but oh man, it's a cool photo though. Even with that, I think it's pretty cool. I love the perspective. I love the focus being on the. I would be curious what the photo looks like, and maybe I'm wrong. But I'd be curious to see what the photo looks like with just natural blurring without that added. I'm like 90% sure that's what happened, what you did to try to get a shallower depth of field and blur out the background, which is super creative. I'm almost tempted to give you a 4 or a 5 because I think it's really cool photo, but I'm gonna give you a 4 because it's a very cool idea to edit this or to frame and compose a photo this way with the background out of focus. But I think that's a natural blur, an unnatural blur. Jeanette. Oh, this is interesting. These look like little fishing nets. And you got the sun shining through it. That's kind of cool. The left side of the frame, I feel like you have like a linear gradient or some sort of vignetting or something that makes it darker. I don't need that. Like, I think having it as bright as the right side of the frame would probably look good. And now it looks just like unnaturally like edited. Jeanette. Did I say Jeanette? Is it Janet? I think I'm looking at the nets. Really creative way to find a subject that can be silhouetted and look interesting. Also storytelling, like these at the end of the day, these empty nets waiting for the next day of work is very cool. It's an interesting composition with it on the right side. And like the left side just being kind of negative spacey. I like it. Very, very cool. I think just the edit on the left side, I'm going to dock you a point for that, but I'm going to give it a 4. Kayla. Okay. What is going on here? This looks interesting, but it looks unnatural. I think you added color to the clouds to make it blue on one side, and then the other side has this like purplish yellow. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think there's like a blue gradient over the right side that has been added. You can kind of tell it's in the foreground as well. It's kind of a creative edit, but there's something about it that feels unnatural to me. And again, this is one where in this location, maybe find a specific plant, a specific thing that you could put in the foreground as a subject rather than just like a wide view of like the sky and the land in front. Because unless that like sky is so epic and the foreground is so interesting with textures or something to look at, it doesn't keep me engaged in the photo. So I'm going to give you a 2. Oh, and this is break time. All right, I'm going to go make a coffee. Go do a bio break. Is that like the PC way to politically correct way to say go take a bathroom break? Corporate speak. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to check on my son who's here now with my wife, make a coffee, and I'm going to try to get through the favorite photo food challenge. I am going to make it a little bit of a speed round though, but I will be right back. Okay. So everyone, 4-minute break. Okay. We'll be back in 4 minutes. All right. Thank you for um, bearing with me. I need a little extra caffeine for this one. Maria, why did the shutter go to therapy? It had too many negative experiences. That is good. That is good. That's funny. All right, I'm gonna do this in 10 minutes because I gotta go after that. But we're gonna get through favorite food photo challenge. So I'm interested to see what your favorite food is, and then if you composed it well. All right. Type if regardless of if you posted a photo or not. Let me know what your favorite food is in the comments. I think I gotta go with tacos. Tacos is like I can always go back to a good taco. Living in Southern California, we have such good access to great tacos. Ooh, but bread, like sourdough bread, I bake bread is a good one too. Mac Sardi's, this is a cool, I like the top down look. I would have bumped up your f-stop to get everything in focus. Like, I think you want everything in focus in these like top down views. Your knife, I could see that, like the table and the texture of the table is a little bit out of focus. And I like the other elements, but I would have just centered the loaf. Like, I don't care to see the towel and the knife as like an element in this photo, but having it just framing it or something is kind of cool. Maybe putting it on a different part of this like texture. Like, I don't like that like black crack at the top. A little pink, little something in the bottom right. Super small details. You could have even just cropped this closer to that bread. So I like the top down look. Good job. But yeah, hopefully those little changes could help it. East LA, absolutely. Abhishek with the action. Abhishek, you post these photos with the action figures. I love that. Like, you're so passionate about it, and I think you need to like incorporate them into all of your challenges. It's a cool photo. I'm gonna give you a 2 because it made me laugh, but I don't know what the food is. But maybe the point is the story of this is that their favorite photo, their favorite food, and about to dig in. Technically, though, for this photo, I think seeing some of that food in focus would have helped, and those lines of the blinds in the background or whatever those are, straighten those out. 5 for just being funny. That's good. Ooh, Amar patisserie. This is like some yummy desserts. Interesting. I would have probably, I see that you like want to see all of them. Maybe highlighting one of these as a row, like focusing in tight would be cool, or making it more of like that straight top down look for this would be interesting. I kind of don't like seeing the plates and the dishes at the very top that are like dirty and used. And framing, yeah, it's like either frame all of it in or pick 1 or 2 of these to frame in, because I don't like seeing like the parts on the right that are not in the frame. So it's interesting though, a little bit. It almost looks like a scene from The Godfather or something, like very contrasty, top down. Ooh, Arthur, what a good photo. I like the composition. I like the angle. I would have cropped in just a tiny bit to get rid of that little line in the top right corner. Maybe get a little tighter in on the pasta. Like, if you just made the crop zoomed in just a tiny bit to the right side. I love the natural light of this. And I actually don't mind the framing with like the pasta maker in the foreground. 5 stars. Love it. Crop in, but really good photo. Ooh, Bob. Really nice top-down photo. Gosh. Was this supposed to be rotated? I think this is supposed to be rotated. I think my assistant did not rotate it because your name is flipped. I was going to say, I think you should probably like rotate it, which you did. It's just I don't have it correct in the slideshow. I'm going to give you a 5 because I love sushi. What I would do is crop in just a little bit too, because see how like the plate on the left, if you're looking sideways at it, on the left, the soy sauce dish, parts of those platters are cropped out. I don't mind that, but then like the full edamame bowl is in. Balance that all out. Match that sort of cropping out of everything. So do something where you're tighter in or something on everything. So it's all balanced. And I don't mind the cropping out of the edges of those things. Did I give you a 5? Because that was a 5. Yeah, sushi, yum. Catherine. Ooh, I like the bokeh you get from the lights in the background. Mm, yummy. What I would have done is probably put it on like for this. I don't. Yeah, I kind of like it in the tin, but the tin's on this plate, which is kind of weird presentation. I like the super shallow depth of field. Maybe when you're doing something like this, it would have been nice to like cut into that loaf and have like one or two slices cut laid on top of each other, and then you see the open face of this bread that I don't know if you made or not, but I think that would be helpful, just to highlight the food in that sense. I'm gonna give you a 3. I like the colors, but maybe it's just the presentation that could be worked on. Oh, Peter, this is cool. That's a lot of sushi. I like the natural lighting. Some of it's out of focus. I think like because some of it's out of focus, it's hard to know what to look at because or it kind of looks like everything's out of focus because there's only like a little strip. It looks like in the sort of like right under the half point of the frame that's in focus. I would have maybe just chosen one of these plates to highlight and like really focus on what's in the foreground or something, or try to get everything in focus on this photo. I think with food photography, unless you're just highlighting a really small part of the food that is interesting enough to look at, generally you want all of it to be in focus. At least that's what I think I would prefer. I'm going to give you a 3. It's lovely looking lighting, nice colors, makes me hungry. So that hit that nail on the head. Caesar. Looks like a little chocolate. Kind of cool storytelling with that bow of holly thing and the pine cone. I probably would have like tried to add one more element to this. Maybe put it on like a little plate or something instead of that wrapper, which looks kind of like crinkled and cheapy compared to like how good this chocolate looks. And there's like the one element of that pine cone holly red that's nice, but like I think you need something else. Maybe it's like a little serving knife or a little plate with a little knife next to it, or another texture added, or maybe some leaves or something at the bottom of the frame. Maybe playing with the rotation of this as well, like Merry Christmas, it's kind of really tilted, maybe rotating just a little bit. Nice lighting though. 3 for me. Ooh, Chelsea. I like the storytelling. I like that someone posted a photo of someone like about to chow down. And this looks like you were just at like a restaurant or something and you didn't have a lot of choice in terms of the presentation or the lighting. Lighting's not good. You get that top-down lighting of a lot of restaurants. Yeah, it's cool. Maybe it would have backed off a little bit if possible to see that whole bowl. That bowl looks like really intricately designed, which is cool. Or gone close up with the camera on the food, but still seeing like the person with their chopstick ready to dive in the background, even if they were a little out of focus. I kind of want to like highlight the food a little bit more, but because you did something different, 4 stars, 4 lightning bolts. Ooh, and making food. Caesar, wait, is this a different? Oh, Caesar Sanchez and Caesar Guzman. All right, this looks like paella. Yum. I like seeing it being made. Again, this looks at like you're at a street fair or something where you don't have control over like the background and the placement. I love everything about this except the background. Like I like the angle, seeing the person pouring the water, making the paella, but that background is so bad. Like you got the tent with the sign, this electrical box on the side. That bugs me, but you don't have control over that. So I'm going to give you a 3. Like, maybe there's a way to have composed this if you could have, like, you know, gotten closer to the paella. Top down, looking at the paella would be interesting too. Yeah. Don Pole, bread, more bread. I love me my bread. I think this is a cool, like, opportunity for a photo here. There's so much out of focus in the foreground, but it takes up so much of the frame, and the bread is only in the bottom half. I would have probably filled the frame more with the bread, even if it was kind of like leaning on top of each other or something. And then the background just would have been less of a focus. Right now, the background is out of focus, but it still distracts me. Like, my eye wants to look at those, like, highlighted, like, the bright bowls and stuff in the background, but maybe cleaning that up could have helped, but also I think more highlighting the bread, filling that frame with it. But it's very natural light, like that. Maybe a top-down look would have been cool too. But yeah, I think it looks like you bake bread, so try it again. Try a different angle closer to the bread. Maybe cut open one of those loaves so you can see that crumb, the inside of that bread. Yum. I'm gonna give you a 3 though. Nice natural lighting, and I love bread. Tally. This is what is this? Eggs Benedict sandwich with is that tomato or is that like smoked salmon? And avocado. This is one of those times where the lighting is a little off. The color correction is a little off. Everything looks a little cool and green. So warming it up maybe would help. It's tough with certain dishes to get those colors just right. Maybe composing it, move that, like, I don't mind the one plate right behind it out of focus, but there's another plate. Like, clean it up a little bit, get a little lower maybe, so that again, the food is higher in the frame a little bit, and then, like, what's out of focus is, like, behind your subject of the food. It feels a little tight on the main food in the foreground though. So giving it a little bit more space to breathe too might help. I'm going to give you a 2, mostly because the white balance is off and it looks a little off. Annette. Ooh, yummy soup. I don't love the composition. I like that you're highlighting the soup, but it looks like you have some bread or something in the background, but you need to compose it differently to, like, tell that story of, like, the soup and the bread. So maybe putting the bread in the soup or a slice of bread in the soup and just focusing on the bowl itself would be kind of cool. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2. Looks delicious though. Ooh, Suzanne, I like this storytelling. Great storytelling of the gingerbread baking experience. I love that. I think the one thing that is also off is the colors. It's a little greenish bluish or something. Warm that up. I'm going to give you a 4 actually, because I love the composition. I think it's just an editing issue that you could probably fix. Warm it up, make it feel like that warm, cozy wintertime baking experience with better colors, and I think that would make this pop. But I love the storytelling. Looks really good. Ooh, Emma, nice shot. Emma, your photos are really good. I love the cleanliness of it. I like that it just kind of fills the frame. You probably could have cropped in even more so you don't even see the edges of that cutting board and underneath. The colors are a little dull in terms of, like, it's a little cool, a little dark. This is a good time to, like, boost that contrast, make those colors and those textures pop. Add a bit of clarity or texture or sharpness to make those textures pop. But That looks delicious. Is that like a salad in a jar? Can you like send me the recipe that you use for that? Yum. Um, I think the contrast is the main thing for me. Boost that contrast. Five star for me. Celeste. Wow, look at that. Kit Kat cake. That is good. The cake looks good. I do not like the background or the place that it is located. That I just feel like, yeah, there's something about like that background texture that doesn't. I don't know what exactly it is. Oh, Emma, you were photographing for your favorite restaurant. That's awesome. It's cool. Again, the colors, I don't know. It's just like feels a little cool to me. That just looks like so much chocolate. I think there could have been a way in a different place with different elements to tell the story. But obviously, maybe you were just like at a party and saw this cake. But like, if you could add different a cutting knife, some plates, a texture, a cloth, something to set the scene. Ooh, this is cool. I like this. Nice storytelling. I might have gotten down a little bit so that you were like at the level of that wine glass. But I love like the storytelling of this as well, and cool lighting. Very similar to your other photo that you posted. I could almost like crop this as a square or something, or zoom in or just zoom in just a little bit, lose a little bit of the bottom of that shelf and the left side so that it's really focused on that. I'm going to give this a 5. It surprises me that I actually really like this, and I like the backlighting. Abios. Are those peanuts? Interesting. It's like you have the two elements. You have the cup and then you have the food. Highlight that food. Put that food like front and center in the frame with I don't mind the cup in the background or something, but I don't want it taking up so much of my attention. So like move that bowl closer to you, top down angle a little bit more so you can really see what those are with the textures. That would help a lot. I'm going to give that a 2. Lighting is nice, though. That nice directional lighting from the side is usually pretty good. Ooh, David, very cool photo. Nice textures of the coffee beans. One of my favorite foods as well. It feels tilted. How do you solve that? Is it the angle of the camera? Is it a rotation thing? Is it just the way the beans are spread? I do like, see, this is an example where the shallow depth of field is fine because he's focusing on like a single texture of a couple of the beans. I don't need to see all of them in focus. It's so close up that you're really just highlighting the texture of one. Maybe I want to just be cropped in even tighter. There's something about the angle I don't like. Maybe if there was like one more bean out of focus in the bottom left of the frame, it wouldn't feel like that. Right now it feels like they're all about to spill. But for nice natural light, it looks like maybe you did this on like a little white paper. I kind of don't like how on the top left there's that highlight of white. So whether that's cropping in or trying to edit that out so like the fade of the background is more natural. Maybe just cropping in a little bit. Oh, Mirella. Nice. I like that egg tower. We have one of those with our chickens at home. And I love that. Very creative. I kind of wish there were more eggs on it. I kind of like the reflection too. I wish you could see more of the reflection. It looks like it's on some sort of like table or shelf that you can't get most of it in to see more of a reflection, but I like the colors of the egg, seeing the color of the eggs, but maybe like black and white could have been cool too, just because it's like this stark shape of this holder, but then the natural eggs kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's 3 for me, Mirella. Yeah. And that is it, my friends. Wow, we made it through 2 big challenges. Next week we have, what is next week? We've got over here, weekly challenges. We've got extreme close-ups. Ooh, that's going to be a fun one. So I'll be back next Thursday for that. Stay tuned. Probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, we will be opening up access to the Powerful Photography course. As I mentioned at the beginning, there's going to be a little discount for those that sign up in the first week. Also, the access to the private student lounge that is going to be part of that. That'll be open up through the rest of the year. I'll be participating myself doing a My Impact challenge that you'll learn all about once you enroll. I hope that it's going to be about $25 is fair price for you for the class and the access to that space and a little bit of extra support in the class over the first couple months. I'm not sure if once the course is after the new year, I might move the course onto Udemy. Everyone who has access here on Circle will get access to the course wherever I end up putting it. Video School, Udemy, whatever. But for the initial sort of cohort, it's going to be here. So stay tuned for that. I would love to see as many of you as possible just to see your work and help you take more impactful photos. But until next week, go take those close-ups. I will challenge myself to do it as well. And Q&A not till, well, yeah, second week of November, we'll be doing a live Q&A. All right. Stay safe out there. Stay friendly. Have a beautiful day as always. And we will see you next time on Frame by Frame. Thanks everyone for being here. Loved being here with all of you. Bye.